Hey there, life learners, and thanks so much for tuning in. Do you want to cover some ground? Do you want to be known for being driven? And do you want to succeed on the road in more ways than one? Well, hopefully you answered yes to all three because you are going to get running after this show. So, good day to all of our YouTube viewers and our audio listeners. Thanks again for being here and welcome. This is episode 289 of the Business of Life Masterclass podcast. And guess what? Welcome to season 8. And boy, do we have a great show to start you off. For our listeners and our viewers both, we ask you to think about the last time you went farther than you imagined. You know, Barb and I are all about creating and celebrating success. So today's episode of the Business of Life Masterclass is how to be on the run, being number one, and still being present. What a great topic. So hello, everyone. I'm Debbie Lundberg, performance and mindset coach with Presenting Powerfully.
I'm Zant here, media sales leader and founder of the lifestyle brand, The Stay at Work Mom. Debbie, who is our guest today that can show us ways to run our lives fully?
Well, Barb, she's the mother of two amazing boys, Brooks 9 and Parker 8, and the partner to her husband, Eric. She is a long distance runner, hence the name of the show, who loves running races or just going for runs with the ladies. And I'm fortunate to get to do that with her. She is an avid planner for fun affairs. So when she is not working or with her kids, or at their kids' sporting events, she simply enjoys planning anything that gets her people together. And we know that's fun. And she is one of only 2 females in sales at Port Consolidated out of 22 total. So you know she is running some new ground there for them. And it's a very male-dominated industry. So she is the first and only female in the Valvoline Sales Champions Club. And she just practices what she promotes. So please welcome the dynamic dynamo, Sarah Boe.
Thanks so much, Debbie and Barb. I appreciate you having me today.
Sarah, we are very excited to have you here. What we would love is if you could share something that maybe was not in your bio, something that's interesting or cool, just a little tease right now, and we'll ask you more about the story just a little bit later in our podcast episode.
Absolutely. So, little tease. Even though I've lived in Florida most of my life, I tend to find and go to places that are a little bit chillier.
We're excited to hear about that since you were invited on the Business of Life podcast, our masterclass podcast for, what you do and what you show up for, what you stand up for, how you lead both professionally and personally. You've listened to our podcast. Please share in 50 words or less what made you want to be on the Business of Life podcast today.
Thanks so much. Well, one of the things is I've listened to them and I was going back through some of the podcasts. It's just picking up what other winners and successful people are doing, right? So we don't always have to remake the wheel when we're trying to refresh ourselves or look for a new way to do something. We need to just look around, whether it's our circle of people we know, love, and trust, or going on a trusted podcast like yours, where you can see what other successful and motivated people are doing and maybe just take a page out of their playbook and put it into your life and see how it works.
Well, I love that. And thank you for your take on the Business of Life Masterclass podcast. But before Debbie gets started on our podcast 4, what is one thing that you are excited about right now?
I am excited about completing a race series this weekend and seeing if it leads me into a marathon, which has been a lifelong goal for me. I've never done a full, done a lot of deconstructed races where I run every race in a series or have different goals. But I'm thinking this 40th year for me, it's going to be the year I go big.
Here, go home, since you are excited about those races, and we're sure you're going to finish number 1 in your age group for sure. What is your walk up to life music soundtrack?
So I at first thought about Eminem, Lose Yourself, because that one definitely fits me. I know some of the other podcasters have used that one, so I thought I'd dig a little deeper. Right now, I think I'm going to use a Taylor Swift one, and it's Look What You Made Me Do. And that one, I love using other people's energy, whether it's good, bad, whatever, take it and go after life to use it for some positive motivation for yourself.
Ooh, look what you just made me do. Yes, I have Taylor Swift. I'll have that one on my playlist. I already do. I'm going to just tell you every Taylor song is, so I will happily listen to that one. It's a good song. And Sarah and I talked about that Eminem song is my walk up right now. It's like you only get one shot, right? Okay, so thank you for that, Sarah. We are moving on to the Business of Life Masterclass Podcast 4. As you know, as a life listener yourself, that these are the 4 questions we ask all of our wonderful guests. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, number 1, what time do you get up in the morning and what is your morning routine to get the day started right?
Well, Debbie, as you well know, being one of my running partners, I am up at 5 a.m. I call it the 5 a.m. club. I have a group of women that all exercise early in the morning, and you never know who I'm going to hear for, starting around 4:45, 5, and we have a very active text chain. I love that in the morning because you're getting positive vibes. Some of my friends send out inspirational quotes. I take that time for my routine to kind of get out of bed, slowly drink my coffee, and get ready to train in the next 45 to 60 minutes. I train almost daily during the week. I find nothing gets me ready for my workday more than getting my blood flowing, and I'm kind of getting some of that, those early stressors out.
So blood flow to get the stressors out, also to keep you in great shape, certainly. So wonderful way to think about the morning, that it's your opportunity to have inspiration and get going. All right, so Sarah, what's something other than that, getting up at 5 a.m. and getting the blood pumping, blood flowing, that you believe if other people were to do it, that it would set them up for an additional level of success? Sometimes Barb calls this the secret sauce. What would that be?
Sure. So my secret sauce is doing what I do not want to do first every single day. So having that plan, doing what I don't want to do first and having a plan for it. So you know me well. Everybody knows my plans have plans. And I think that is the piece of information that so many people miss. They have this big idea, this pie in the sky. They want to do things. They say it, but they don't put it into action. So actionable and attainable goals. And if it's something you're nervous about or don't want to do, just do it. And then
Yes.
it's over and you're already in motion.
Well, it reminds me of the book, and we've had this on the show before too, the Eat the Frog book that Brian Tracy. I mean, if you have 2 frogs, eat the hairiest one first, he says. So you are eating the frog and getting that done. And others, for our listeners and viewers, please take that to heart. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? It's going to be behind you. So that's a good thing. All right, number 3, who or what has been the biggest influence in your life, your success, and your continued focus on running through all of life's challenges with grace and huge success? And importantly, Sarah, what have you done with that influence?
I think it's a whom. It's women. I have been so fortunate since a young age to always have 1 or 2 or now many strong, passionate women in my life. And I don't even know if I realized this when I was younger, the molding that I was taking in and that was happening. Now, as I've gotten older, I've found myself surrounded by women who are all career motivated, good friends, good moms, good partners, people who I want to aspire to be more like. And that's something that I can only hope that I'm giving as well. You have to pour back into those cups. So what you're taking out, you have to give back in. So I hope that for the other women that I surround or that are in my world, whether it's networking groups or friend groups or just meeting them on the soccer field, that if I can give them just a little bit of a push or a motivation, whether it's work or personal or working out, I hope to pass that good on because we need more of that out there where people are helping others get moving.
Well, and you certainly do. You take and give and give and take, and you keep it flowing, Sarah. So, I mean, Barb and I can speak to that, and certainly we appreciate it. So keep that in mind, everybody, who you surround yourself, who's lifting you up. That is so important. All right. Now, our 4th one, our series and the master classes we have had and that we will have in the future, they're all about focusing on the positive, like you just said. How are you doing this to give that to other people? At the same time, Sarah, what is something you see that if people would stop doing it, or something negative that they're doing or saying, that if they would discontinue it, you believe that would move them forward?
Yeah, so I believe if people could stop procrastinating and start setting dates, that would help them move forward, whether it's just writing a date on the calendar, making a Facebook post, or whatever your media is. However, you can make yourself accountable towards your goals, not anyone else's, your goals. Something as small as when I registered for this crazy series I'm doing this weekend, I put it on Facebook for the whole world to know. Now I'm accountable to it. I think so many people get in decision paralysis or movement paralysis that they don't ever start and begin. One of my favorite phrases is begin, the rest is easy.
Yeah.
I used to tell training clients all the time as well, put your shoes on. It's the hardest part of the workout. So little things like that, I think can really help people move further when they find accountability, make a plan, and set a date for an attainable goal for themselves. It's okay to make a mistake. I'd rather make several mistakes and figure out a better way before most people even start, get moving.
That's true. And Sarah, you mentioned about the training. You used to own a gym, you've been a trainer, you've been a coach for people for their physical well-being. And so listen, everybody, put your shoes on.
Put your shoes on and go.
Put your shoes on and go.
It translates to all industries.
They discontinued Sarah's favorite shoes, so this is going to be a funny follow through that Barb and I have to talk about, because we may have to figure out how to find some other shoes for Sarah, but we'll get there in the follow through. Sarah, thank you for answering the podcast for Barb, smiling at us with, I'm sure, some or many things for us to do.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. I feel very action oriented for sure. A couple of things that I am going to implement. The first thing I wrote down was worst first, and eat that frog, and that's tied to the procrastination too. But I love all of these have the action, the do part of our podcast. And I do 6 a.m. workouts, but I am going to set my alarm for 4:45 and get my cardio in before my 6 a.m. workout. So I'm definitely going to do that, and then pass the good on. I loved how you said that. And so I'm going to work on a couple of things. And now I just wrote a note on shoes too, Debbie. So your list might look a little bit different, because I know you're already getting up at 4:45 or earlier. Actually, I know I get those texts even earlier than 4:45. What are some of the ideas that you're going to implement, and we can work on them together and talk about them coming up soon?
Well, yes, I like the idea of doing that with the cardio and the days that are weights. We can think about that. But you know what? It really struck me, Sarah, that as you were saying, with the influence of these strong, passionate women, you said strong, passionate women who are friends, moms, partners. We have our awesomeness squad. We have our tune in and tune up that we're all part of. And it's, something that brings a lot of joy to me is to thank people and remind them of how great they are. And so that's something that I know it wasn't exactly what you said, Sarah, but it inspired me to do that. So I plan to do that. I like the blood flow. I like the worst first too, because I like to say Brian Tracy's Eat the Frog, but worst first is fun to say. And just remind people, myself included, if there's something you don't want to, begin. So all good things. So I am ready.
Begin. I like that. So Sarah, as we wrap up, please elaborate on the T's that you talked about. Chilly vacations. Maybe
Yes.
I implemented vacations, but chilly. Let's hear about it.
So even though I'm a Florida girl and we're surrounded by water and sand, if you find me booking anything, it's usually out to altitude. I love to ski and to hike and to be anywhere it's cold, which is unusual seeing as I live in Tampa, Florida.
I love that. I think we should do a hiking trip sometime soon. Finally, what is one quick closing comment or statement, or even a concept or mantra? You gave us lots of them already. Is there one more thing that you'd like to say before we close this out?
Let's go. Let's move. Get started.
All right. Well, we got started. We're moving a little. We're getting movement in here, even though we're sitting with this. I'm sure we'll all be getting up because Sarah's inspired us. So thank you again, Sarah. And we're getting ready to say goodbye, but we know you have so much ahead of you with all of these miles and all of the impact. So not what is your run off music, but what is your walk off music that mic drop after you do decide on whether or not you're going to do your marathon, and after you've completed all of these races, what's that song that just finishes it for you?
I think I'm going to go with Taylor Swift again. Are you ready for it? Because even though you're done, you got to keep moving forward. What are you doing next?
And that beat is so good, how it comes in, that doom, doom. Okay, are you ready for it?
Keeping that energy.
Yes, and we're certainly ready for whatever that comes and whatever we can do to follow along. I know we're going to share a little something extra as well.
Yes, thanks so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right, so please know, listeners, you can stay connected with Sarah Boe on social media under her name, SarahBoe. And you can also find out about her family business, which is Boe Family Dental, by following along with the dental practice she and her husband recently purchased. So they're running another show over there. So similarly, you can follow Barb and me on Instagram and Facebook at the Business of Life Masterclass. Barb is the stay at work mom, and I am Debbie Lundberg. Most places, Debbie Lundberg Coach on TikTok, where I put out daily Coach's Corner tips.
If you liked the insights that you heard, please rate us 5 stars. We are committed to providing you with 5-star guests and inspiration, just like Sarah. Please do provide us feedback and stay tuned for our follow through next week, where you learn what Debbie and I did. Maybe you can hear about some shoes. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Business of Life Masterclass, the podcast for successful people embracing every chance to accomplish and experience all you can in business and in life.
Listen, choose, do. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have ever thought, gosh, I'd like a collaborator, I wonder what else I could do, it's likely that the answer is a coach. Hi, I'm Debbie Lundberg, Performance and Mindset Coach with Presenting Powerfully. And if you would like confidential coaching to drive you to the next idea, the next role, or even to figure out your own brand, please reach out to us at Presenting Powerfully, 813-494-4438. Thank you.